Hello, everybody, and welcome to a brand spanking new episode of MovieKombat. We are here live on twitch.tv/Primal_Target, which you in the future are not watching live. You're watching actually a recording. If you wanted to join us, well, you should have joined us last time. But you can join us in the next season, which it will be MovieKombat Season 9, which will follow this one. And in order to do that, you just follow us over here on twitch.tv/Primal_Target. If you're watching this in the future, then you're probably watching over there on YouTube. All you have to do is just go to YouTube and type Primal Target, and you're there. In case you just happen to stumble across this video at some point in time in any way of whatever. But yeah, so this season of MovieKombat, we are running through the 13 official Disney princesses that Disney has set in their history books. There's 13 of them. They are official, and they have had ceremonies at the Disney parks to make them so official. And in order to get the classification, you have to... I don't really know how they decide that. They just do sometimes. And then they've never taken it back. So when they give it to you, then you have it, and then that's you're an official Disney princess. So Anna and Elsa never got them, though Anna never was a princess. She was, but when the movie was over, she became a queen. But then for some reason, Anna never got one. But then they must have known, because in 2 she became a queen. I don't know, but they know how they're doing things over there, and for some reason, how they decide it. So with this one, we have gone through currently 5 other Disney princess films, which have been Snow White, Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, The Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, and Aladdin is now this episode. And once we were done with that, then we were officially done with 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is insane. And we're kind of getting through this season. And then after this episode's recording, we are officially beyond halfway point of this season. So that will be cool too. So let's discuss the 1992 classic Aladdin. This movie was always in the VCR when I was a kid, so I was a little biased going into this one because I know I was probably going to like this movie again. I haven't seen it in quite some time, but there's just so much to it that I figured it was probably going to get pretty highly ranked. I think I kind of fell into that also. So, yeah, it's... I don't know. I kind of watched this movie trying not to go with, what do they call it? Rose-colored glasses or whatever. I tried to be a little critiquing and whatnot. But the movie just does such a good job as telling you an entire story within an hour and 30 minutes. It's 90 minutes long, according to IMDb exactly. They had to tell you a backstory, why the bad guy's a bad guy, why the princess is a princess, why our main character is our main character, how the main character and the princess get together. And that was also something that was a little unique about this movie, is this is the first princess movie of the ones we've seen where now the princess is a princess and the others are like, okay, yes, you can say Aurora, Sleeping Beauty, was a princess already, but she had to get to the princess part. She hadn't gotten to the princess part. Remember, she was taken as a kid, and then she was coming back at her 18th birthday to be a princess or whatever. This is Jasmine is a princess in a not temple, in a castle sort of thing. and our main character is the prince this time, and he's trying to fall in love, or he's trying to get with the princess at a certain point in time. Like, to me, I don't know. I just liked how the flow of it is very nice. It goes one right into the other, into the other, into the other, in the sense of like plot into plot into plot. Um, and yeah, I just think it does a really good job of how we're supposed to care about this poor street rat and also care about the rich and famous princess, but then also hate this magical sorcerer that is, oh my god, Jafar. For some reason, I couldn't think of Jafar. And yeah, it looks like the Taj Mahal, but it's not the Taj Mahal. But yeah, I don't know. I just think that it just, the flow of the movie is just is unmatched from what the other movies have had. I guess if we kind of look at the others, like what it's always been like, what has the others built on the last? This movie is definitely more unique than Beauty and the Beast, considering that there was a lot more 3D animation in Beauty and the Beast, whereas this one had 3D animation. The 3D animation wasn't really shown until like the palace scenes and the lion head desert thing. Like, that was obviously 3D animation, but most of it was still 2D animation, as opposed to, like, if you look at Beauty and the Beast, for some reason when this Beauty and the Beast comes out a year before this and it looks a little bit newer, like, I don't know, that was kind of something that stood out to me. So I don't really know how the budget may have fit. These did come out back to back, which, according to these other movies that we've seen so far, well, like, looking back at these other movies that we've seen so far, is the quickest turnaround. Is like going right into another movie right the year after. This is an era of Disney that we're going to be seeing, like, boom, boom, like, we're hitting really fast, because Pocahontas, I think, is next after this one. And yeah, Pocahontas is next after this, then Mulan, and then Princess and the Frog, which does have a little bit of a gap. So yeah, these, our timelines are gonna go pretty quick. But yeah, and the cast for this movie is also, like, pretty well known, as opposed to Beauty and the Beast and the before movies. We're actually getting a cast that people know who these people are. The guy who plays Aladdin is also the guy who played Steve from Full House. I don't know if you know that. Obviously, Genie is played by the late and great Robin Williams. And you even have, like, side characters, like Gilbert Godfrey is Iago. And yeah, and let's see. Oh yeah, Jim Cummings obviously plays a few side characters who you know as Winnie the Pooh or Tigger. He works in Disney a lot, so you'll hear his voice. There's a lot of subtle voices in this movie that you can kind of figure out, oh, those are somebody I know. So yeah, it's very interesting of this movie from last movie. There's just a lot of choices that they went with of, like, we're doing something different in how we're going to tell the story, who we're casting in the story. It just works. It just works really, really well. The animation, I think, also is really, really good. I do think it's a little bit less than Beauty and the Beast, like I was saying. It's not the fact that they didn't use a lot of 3D animation like they did in that movie. It's just, you can kind of tell, like, there's just something a little bit off from that movie to this movie, which is okay. It's just, it's probably because there are two different studios maybe working on this. I'm not entirely sure why, but you could definitely tell this one's a little bit less, I don't want to say taken care of, because that could easily be that too, of where, like, maybe the raw cells the original cells of Beauty and the Beast have lasted a little bit better than the original cells of Aladdin. I don't really know, but you could definitely tell that there's something a little off. And but with that, there is several times where the flowing of the animation of like Aladdin moving around or walking around still has that, it's like cell to cell to cell to cell look to it, where Aladdin is flowing, moving his arm. They've drawn him going from here to here to here to here to here to here, instead of just like the quick here and then skip a frame here, then skip a frame here. There's still a very nice Disney flow to it that they kind of did in that Renaissance era. So yeah, I do like it. It's just not as sharp, I think is the term I'm trying to look for, as Beauty and the Beast. But yeah, I think that the characters are fantastic. And just like how Beauty and the Beast, the music numbers seemed like a play. Like I felt like when I was watching Beauty and the Beast, I'm watching a Broadway play. I've seen a musical version that Disney has put on, because they used to do a sort of Broadway-esque show at Disneyland. They had a Aladdin version of it, which sucks they took that away, but that's something that used to be a thing. So I've seen a Disney version of a stage show of this of Aladdin, and it just kind of proves when you watch this movie that just like Beauty and the Beast, it does feel like they've written it such a smooth transition to song to then story, then it goes back into the song again. For example, like the Whole New World, like it starts off as Aladdin talking to Jasmine, and then they go back and forth, and then eventually it goes into the song. It's not like they're singing now. It's natural flow into the song, and then when the song ends, the song comes back down, and then conversation begins again. It just does a really good job in that very stage presence of what this movie does, just like how Beauty and the Beast did. And I think that's taking it, that flow from last movie to this movie, it just works really, really well. So now, how many songs were there? When did we see our princess? When do we see the villain? And when is the first song? There are 6 songs in this movie. There's one rendition change. There's like a perspective change as Jafar sings a version of the Prince Ali thing. I think that was the rendition one. And then we see Princess Jasmine 12 minutes and 40 seconds into this movie, because remember, the movie is not really about her. She's kind of a B character, or she's a side character, whereas Aladdin is our main character in this movie. But they do a really good job, even though they introduce her late. She is brought to the front very, very quickly, so it works really well. But yeah, so she is not the latest, because Sleeping Beauty technically was, but you could almost argue Sleeping Beauty was kind of shown in that like storybook thing. So technically in this one, she's the second longest princess that does not show up yet, which is 12 minutes and 40 seconds into the movie. We officially see Princess Jasmine. And then when it comes to our villain, 3 minutes and 24 seconds, which is 1 second before, or 1 second after we see Gaston from Beauty and the Beast. And so it's about average 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's see here. Yeah, 3 minutes seems to be the average. 3.5 minutes seems to be about the average when they start showing up. Our first song is 40 seconds into the movie. We have our intro. I think we see the castle, and then it goes Aladdin. As soon as we see the name of the movie, the music starts, and that is the first time that we officially go into a actual song, and it's Arabian Nights, which kicks off the entire mood and feel to the movie, which does a really, really good job. Okay, well, with that said, I think we are going to jump into some stuff here over on IMDb Corner. I go to IMDb and I dive into some cool and fun stuff. Let's take a look over at taglines. These are the things that are to sell the movie. It's just one little sentence, one little blurbage. Here we go. This was the DVD release of Aladdin, which originally this movie did not come out to. It came out originally on VHS because it's the 90s. And it was Wish Granted. Yeah. The next one is it is not what is outside, but what is inside that counts. Oh. It's kind of like the treasure and the lion head, but also our main character that has to experience that himself. Kind of a weird thing. All right, the next one, a diamond in the rough, which is said throughout the movie. That kind of makes sense, and also is probably the best of the taglines here because it's a little not too on the nose of a phrase there. And our last one is, imagine if you had 3 wishes, 3 hopes, 3 dreams, and they all could come true. That one seems like something that you'd see at the when this movie was announced, which is kind of interesting. All right. Because it's a little, like, you have to say that there's a genie, because that's kind of a big selling point for the movie. All right, let's take a look at some trivia, shall we? All right. During the course of recording the voices, the late Robin Williams improvised so much that had almost 16 hours of material. Wow. Just as someone that has been like editing videos and movies and stuff, to sift through 16 total hours, I mean, 1, it's a lot to work with. 2, that sucks that you have to go through that because some person actually had to listen to all of that. But as an editor, it's pretty amazing because that means you have so much, like I said, to work with. So originally, Jafar was more hot-tempered, while Iago was a cool, haughty British type. Okay. The filmmakers felt that that having Jafar losing his temper too much made him less menacing, so the personalities of the 2 characters were switched. Okay, so what we originally had was Jafar and Iago were switched personality-wise, and then the filmmakers were like, yeah, it's not working. So then they flipped them to what we have as the final product. Because Robin Williams ad-libbed so many of his lines, the script was rejected for a Best Adapted Screenplay Academy Award nomination. Oh, that's lame. So because Robin Williams had those 13 hours or whatever they had, the movie didn't get Best Adapted Screenplay Academy Award nomination because technically it wasn't written. That's kind of lame. The opening scene with the street merchant was completely unscripted. Oh, okay, yeah, the beginning of the movie, which Robin Williams also plays the street merchant, if you didn't know that. The opening scene with the street merchant was completely unscripted. Robin Williams was brought into a soundstage and was asked to stand behind a table that had several objects on it and a bed sheet covering all of them. The animators asked him to lift the sheet and, without looking, take an object from the table and describe it in character. Much of the material in the recording session was not appropriate for Disney film. Oh, that's awesome. And the last fun fact here we're going to read is, while recording the movie, Robin Williams frequently received calls from Steven Spielberg, who at the time was working on the Holocaust film Schindler's List, 1993. He would put him on speakerphone so he could tell jokes to the cast and crew to cheer them up. Some of the material that he used was material that he was using for this film. Oh, interesting. So because Schindler's List was so depressing to work on, which I don't know if you've ever seen Schindler's List, it's very, very hard to watch sometimes, depending on if you're not in the right state of mind. It's a Holocaust movie, and very good. Liam Neeson's in it. It's a very good movie for what it is, like the theming of it. And yeah, but I guess it was so depressing sometimes, people needed to get cheered up a little bit. So Steven Spielberg called Robin Williams on the phone to have him cheer up the cast and crew, that's pretty cool. Definitely sounds like a Robin Williams story right there. Okay, let's take a look at connections, because I'm curious. No, never mind. Connections is when they like may reuse some asset from like another film in this one. I thought there was something in there, but I guess it wasn't. So, whatever. That's okay. There's a lot of quotable lines in this movie. I'm not going to do quotes because I haven't done it for the other movies, but there's a lot of quotable stuff from this that even as today, when I was hearing Genie talk or stuff like that, it was just kind of that thing of like, oh, yeah, I know that line. Because I have definitely seen this movie a lot. Probably more than of these movies. Yeah, probably more than any of them. So, release date was November 25th, 1992, which I think Beauty and the Beast was November as well of the year before. So that was kind of interesting. Let's see, also known as Aladdin. Budget was $28 million. And gross U.S. and Canada is $217.4 million. Again, I don't know if this was re-released. I think it was for like maybe an IMAX or I don't know. I don't think about it. I don't know if Aladdin's been re-released for an IMAX or a 3D. So that might have been legit. That might be legit. Opening weekend, U.S. and Canada is 196.7 thousand, which is interesting number. $196,664 opening weekend. The other Beauty and the Beast also had like in the thousands as well, which is very interesting. But then obviously it's grossed so much money because like this gross worldwide for Aladdin is $504 million. So I'm not entirely sure how accurate those numbers are. The opening weekend, U.S. and Canada, does say November 15th, 1992, which the movie came out in November 25th, 1992. So there must have been an early screening for the movie, which also seemed to be kind of what Beauty and the Beast had, where that opening weekend was actually before the actual release. So I'm not entirely sure what that was. Just DVD or Blu-ray. The movie has been released on Blu-ray now, because now you can buy it in 4K. So, but yeah, I'm not sure what they're doing with their classification here. And yeah, Dolby Stereo is what this movie was mixed in. So if you ever are going into a place that says it's like 5.1 surround sound, or you're setting it to 5 point something surround sound, 7 point or 5.1, the movie was mixed in stereo, so there's no need to do that. Okay, yeah, I gotta check Beauty and the Beast now. Beauty and the Beast, 91. It was also November 22nd, 1991. Wow, they were released 1 year apart from each other? November 22nd. This was released November 25th. Wow. Almost to the day, a year separate from each other. But they are somehow different, which is very interesting. Okay. So, that is going to do it for the IMDb corner. And actually, Ron Clements, I think there's something. Yes, the writer for Aladdin is the same writer for Hercules, Moana, and Princess and the Frog, and also The Little Mermaid, which is very just kind of fun to know. He's a co-writer along with John Musker. So these guys wrote literally banger after banger after banger, and then they also wrote Hercules in the middle of this, and I think it said Mulan, and Princess and the Frog, which are also on this list of this season that we're going to watch. So that's pretty cool. All right, let's review this bad boy, shall we? And for those that are unaware, this is our official review scale for how we do things here at Primal Target. And so how our reviews work is the people in the chat will also give a review, and then that will be averaged out as the official PT Nation score. And then I will give my review, and that will be the official Primal Target score. So, in our last movies so far, we have had Snow White. I gave a 7. You guys gave an 8.3. Cinderella was an 8.1 from me. 8.6 from you guys. 8 from Sleeping Beauty, 8.5 from you, 8 for The Little Mermaid, 8.2, 9 for Beauty and the Beast, and a 9.3 from you guys for Beauty and the Beast. Aladdin, to me, I felt like did a lot. It just does so much right. The casting is damn near perfect. It's not as I think it's so accessible that anybody can watch this movie, where you have a strong female lead, you have a very in the sense of tolerable to watch in both genders of the role, so you're not necessarily having to pick, like, is this a girl movie or a guy movie? Aladdin, to me, has never been a gender sort of specific movie to anybody, where, like, you're gonna find it more appealing if you're one or the other. I think any kid is going to love loves Aladdin. I think it's just one of those movies that's like, it's timeless, it's funny. There's jokes in there that you're not going to get as a kid that you're going to get as an adult. There's a little bit of some untimely references that, like, are so over the head that I didn't even get still, because it was like they're irrelevant now. But for the 90s, it's very relevant. And but that's just how it works. Comedy from Robin Williams makes the movie just about 10,000 times better than what it would have probably been without him. And I just think the movie flows so smoothly from one scene to the next. We have dozens of different scene changes, unlike the other movies have had. So with that, let's take a look at what you guys said. So, okay, so Preacher, you said a 10. So 10, and then plus 8.5, and then divided by 2. That is an official score of 9.25, but we round up. So 9.3 out of 10 from the PT Nation. And you know what? For the first time this season, we agree. I totally agree. I think the movie is a 9.3. There's a few times, like I said, it's a little showing its age now, which is not a bad thing. That can't knock the movie, because there's old movies that are also very good that show their age because they're just old. But this movie, there's just some animation style. There's some animation things that are not as great as Beauty and the Beast. I would have gave it a 9.5 if they were if they took the same sort of grand scale animation that Beauty and the Beast is and put it in this movie, then it would have probably been like a 9.5 or higher. But this movie just kind of took a step back in that aspect, which is just very weird. So it was a little jarring that that's what happened, especially when they're almost a year apart. You'd think that they were kind of in the same ballpark of each other, but they're different, which is not bad. The writing is a lot better than, and I think way more entertaining than the last couple of movies have been. It doesn't take itself super serious that the other movies have done. There's actually a bit of humor. Snow White, Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, Little Mermaid, and Beauty and the Beast do have some comedic moments to them, but they're not scattered throughout. It's usually relying on like one character, whereas Aladdin was able to kind of even do some stuff with like Jafar and Iago, and like our villains were even kind of humorous. The Beauty and the Beast kind of did that with Gaston and LeFou. Like they kind of have some comedic things, but it wasn't as obvious as what Aladdin did. Where Aladdin definitely has a lot more humor than the other movies have had at all. So I did appreciate that the movie doesn't take itself too seriously, because as a kid, and the reason why I loved it so much is because it's able to be watched over and over and over and over again, because it's not that serious. Like, there is a serious plot line. There's a villain that is trying to take over an entire kingdom by brainwashing the father of the princess. But other than that, it's not super, super serious. So I liked it. I gave it a 9.3. PC Nation score is officially a 9.3. And with that, Aladdin is out of our hair for now. And we are going to go into talking about our next week's movie, which is Pocahontas. And I have not seen Pocahontas in a long time. So this one, I'm curious to see what I give my review for. So we'll see. But yeah, so Pocahontas is the next one that after this episode. If you're watching over here on twitch.tv/prime_target, that will be next Sunday. If you're watching or this coming Sunday. And if you're watching on YouTube, which is in the future, then you will be watching this week to week. So yeah, it will be the next episode. And then after that, you'll watch Mulan. So our schedule next is Pocahontas, then Mulan, then The Princess and the Frog, Tangled, Brave, Moana, and Raya and the Last Dragon. We are officially over the hump of the halfway point. So that will be it for me here tonight. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Good night, everybody.